Honestly, I used to be completely overwhelmed. My days were a chaotic race against the clock. I was drowning in notifications, chasing never-ending to-do lists, and always feeling like I wasn't enough. I was chasing what I thought was success, but it just left me burnt out and unfocused. The constant pressure to do more, be more, and have more was a treadmill I couldn't get off of. Every day was a battle, and frankly, I was losing. Then, I discovered 12 ancient principles from the Stoics. These weren't just dusty quotes, they were a blueprint that rewired my brain for resilience, focus, and a real sense of success. This philosophy, born 2,000 years ago, gave me a practical, timeless toolkit for navigating modern chaos. It taught me not how to get rid of challenges, but how to meet them with calm and clarity. In this video, I'm going to share those 12 principles that can help you reclaim control, find your calm, and redefine what success means for you every single day. Principle 1. The dichotomy of control. First up is the absolute bedrock of Stoicism, the dichotomy of control. It's a beautifully simple idea. Some things are up to us and others are not. The philosopher Epictetus laid it out perfectly. Some things are within our power, while others are not. Within our power are our own opinions, motivations, and choices. Not in our power, our body, property, reputation, basically, everything that isn't our own doing. Think about your daily life. You can't control the traffic, a sudden rainstorm, or what your boss thinks of your latest project. Wasting energy on these things is a recipe for frustration and anxiety. But what you can control is how you respond. You control your effort, your mindset, your integrity. Here's a modern take. You've prepped for weeks for a huge presentation. You poured your heart into it. But on the day of, the projector dies and a key stakeholder is in a foul mood. The response isn't what you hoped for. An untrained mind spirals, seeing it as a total failure. But a Stoic understands the difference. The quality of your work, the research, the practice, the passion that was in your control. The faulty tech and someone else's mood? Not a chance. Success, then, isn't the applause. It's knowing you gave your absolute best with what was yours to command. This one shift frees you from a world of unnecessary pain. Principle 2. Memento mori. Remember, you will die. Okay, this next principle sounds a little dark, but it's actually one of the most powerful motivators you'll ever find. Memento mori. Remember, you will die. The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius wrote in his private journal, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." This isn't about being morbid. It's about creating priority and meaning. Knowing your time is finite is the ultimate filter for what truly matters. It cuts through the trivial drama, the petty grudges, and the procrastination that eats up our days. When you let death be your advisor, you start asking better questions. Is this argument really worth my limited time on Earth? Is this fear holding me back from something I'll regret not doing? Am I spending my precious moments on things that actually matter to me? Imagine you're stuck in some petty office drama, stewing over a coworker's comment. Now, apply memento mori. In the grand scheme of your one and only life, how much does this really matter? The thought of our end doesn't make life meaningless. It makes every moment precious. It's the kick in the pants that pushes us to stop putting off our dreams, to say, "I love you," to start that project, and to forgive the small stuff. It turns life from a series of obligations into a limited time opportunity to live with purpose. Principle 3. Amor fati, love your fate. Our third principle is maybe the most challenging, but also the most transformative. Amor fati, which means a love of fate. This idea pushes us to not just accept everything that happens, the good, the bad, the ugly, but to embrace it, to love it as if we chose it ourselves. As Epictetus said, do not seek for everything to happen as you wish it would, but rather wish that everything happens as it actually will, then your life will flow well. This is about recognizing that fighting reality is a guaranteed way to make yourself miserable. Resisting what has already happened is like trying to push a river upstream. It's pointless and exhausting. Amor fati says, take a different approach. When you face a setback, a lost job, a breakup, an unexpected illness, the first reaction is usually anger or despair. But what if, after you feel those things, you could look at the situation and ask, this is my path now. How can I use this? What can this teach me? Think about someone who gets laid off. They could spend months bitter and resentful, or they could practice amor fati. They accept the new reality and start seeing it as an opportunity, a chance to retrain for a new career, to start their own business, or to reevaluate what's truly important. It's not about pretending the setback doesn't hurt. It's about trusting that even the hardest moments can be a powerful chapter in your life story. It's turning every obstacle into an opportunity. Principle 4. The view from above. Our fourth principle is a powerful visualization exercise. The Stoics called the view from above. Marcus Aurelius used this all the time to gain perspective. He'd imagine himself looking down on the world from high above, seeing all the bustling cities, the vast landscapes, and the endless scurrying of people throughout history. From up there, our individual problems, our anxieties, and our egos all shrink down to their true size. He wrote to himself, think of substance in its entirety, of which you have the smallest of shares, and of time in its entirety, of which a brief and momentary span has been assigned to you. By zooming out, you detach from your personal drama, that fight with a friend, that embarrassing moment, that worry about the future. They all lose their power when you see them against the backdrop of the entire universe. This isn't about pretending your feelings aren't real, but about putting them in context. The next time you feel totally consumed by stress, try this. Close your eyes. Imagine floating up, above your home, your city, your country. See the whole planet, a beautiful blue marble in the vast silence of space. Think of all the generations that came before and all that will come after. In that huge context, is this issue that's eating you alive really the catastrophe you think it is? This practice builds humility, quiets the ego, and brings back a sense of peace by reminding us we're a small part of a magnificent whole. Principle 5. Focus on the present moment. This next principle feels very modern, but the Stoics were on it 2 millennia ago. Focus on the present moment. They knew the past is gone and the future is uncertain. The only time we really have is right now. The philosopher Seneca warned, true happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future. He saw how we torture ourselves with old memories and future anxieties, but completely neglecting the one thing that's real, the present. How often are you physically in one place but mentally somewhere else? You're in a meeting, replaying a past argument. You're with a loved one, but you're anxiously scrolling your phone, worrying about tomorrow. The Stoics would say that isn't really living. To live in the present means giving your full attention to whatever you're doing. When you're eating, just eat. Taste the food. When you're walking, feel your feet on the ground. When you're listening to someone, actually listen. Don't just plan your reply. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself to do every act of your life as if it were the last. That's not a call to be reckless, but a call to be present. When you anchor yourself in the now, you stop being haunted by the ghosts of yesterday and the phantoms of tomorrow. Success isn't some future goal. It's the quality of attention you bring to this very moment. Principle 6. Justice and service to others. Sympatheia. Principle 6 reminds us that we're not in this alone. The Stoics had a word for this: sympatheia, the belief that everything is interconnected, woven together. True success isn't a solo mission. As social creatures, our own good is tied to the good of everyone else. Marcus Aurelius put it perfectly: what's bad for the hive is bad for the bee. This principle calls us to be fair, just, and kind. It asks us to look beyond our own selfish wants and consider our duty to our community. For a Stoic, real success includes contributing to the well-being of others. It's about being a good parent, a supportive friend, a responsible citizen, an honest colleague. In your daily life, this can be as simple as helping a coworker who's struggling or listening with real empathy to a friend. It means acting with integrity even when no one is watching. Your actions have ripple effects. A moment of kindness can change someone's day. A commitment to fairness builds trust. The Stoics believe that serving the common good is how we fulfill our nature. Personal success and the good of the community aren't in conflict. They're two sides of the same coin. A successful life is one that adds value to the lives of others. Principle 7. Temperance and moderation. In a world that screams more, our seventh principle, temperance, is the quiet voice that says, "I've had enough." It's the virtue of moderation and self-control. The Stoics taught that our desires, if we let them run wild, become our masters. As Seneca put it, it is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor. Temperance is about finding the healthy middle ground. It's about enjoying life's pleasures without becoming a slave to them. It's the discipline to stop eating when you're full, to turn off Netflix and go to bed, to save money instead of impulse buying, and to respond to things with reason instead of raw emotion. Think of it as training your impulses. When you feel the pull of a distraction, can you pause and choose to stay focused? When you feel the urge for something you know isn't good for you long term, can you hit the brakes? This isn't about depriving yourself. It's about respecting yourself. It's about making sure you are in charge of your life, not your fleeting appetites. As Epictetus taught, freedom isn't about getting everything you want, but by managing your wants. By practicing temperance, you build an inner stability that can't be shaken by the next shiny object. You realize that true wealth is wanting less. Principle 8. Excellence in daily tasks. This next principle is about finding meaning in the mundane. Give your full attention and best effort to every task, no matter how small. The Stoics believe that character isn't built in a few grand heroic moments. It's forged in the fire of our daily routines. True success is found in how you do what you do. As Epictetus said, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. Whether you're writing an email, cleaning the kitchen, or helping your kid with homework, you have a choice. You can do it with resentment and mediocrity, or you can do it with focus, care, and excellence. It's about taking pride in your actions, moment by moment. When you work, you really work. When you rest, you really rest. Imagine applying this to your least favorite chore. Instead of rushing through it, what if you approached it with total concentration, trying to do it perfectly? This does two things. First, it turns boring tasks into opportunities for mindfulness and discipline. Second, it builds a habit of excellence that spills over into everything else you do. As the saying goes, how you do anything is how you do everything. A successful life is built not on a few spectacular moments, but on a foundation of countless daily actions performed with virtue and dedication. Principle 9. Self, knowledge, and clarity. You can't build a good life if you don't know who you are. That's the heart of our 9th principle, inspired by Socrates. Know yourself. This requires deep, honest self-examination. What are your real values? What are your strengths and weaknesses? What triggers your anger or anxiety? What kind of person do you actually want to be? Seneca taught that without this inner clarity, we're like ships without rudders, tossed around by other people's opinions and our own unexamined impulses. We end up chasing goals that aren't ours and living a life that feels fake. Practicing self-knowledge means making time for introspection, journaling, meditating, or just quiet reflection. It's about asking tough questions and listening to the answers. Why did that comment upset you so much yesterday? Was it what they said? Or did it poke at a deeper insecurity? Why are you chasing that promotion? Is it for the work or for the applause? This process isn't always comfortable, but it's essential. By understanding how you tick, you gain the power to manage your emotions, align your actions with your values, and consciously build a life of purpose. Principle 10. Continuous reflection and journaling. So, how do you get to know yourself? That leads us straight to Principle 10, the habit of daily reflection, famously practiced by the Stoics through journaling. This isn't a Dear Diary exercise. It's a philosophical workout for the mind. Seneca described his evening routine where he'd review his day and ask himself, what fault did I overcome today? What virtue did I acquire? What did I do wrong? Where can I improve? This daily review is a powerful feedback loop. At the end of each day, take a few minutes to reflect. Did you live up to your principles today? Did you lose your temper? Did you act with kindness? Did you focus on what you could control? This isn't about beating yourself up. It's about honest assessment and course correction. By regularly looking at your thoughts and actions, you can spot the patterns you want to change and reinforce the ones you want to grow. Marcus Aurelius's Meditations, one of the greatest Stoic texts, was literally his personal journal reminders and reflections written for himself, not an audience. This daily practice kept his principles front and center and ensured he was always working to be a better person. Success isn't a destination. It's a process of continuous progress, guided by honest reflection. Principle 11. Choose your role models. Nobody figures this stuff out alone. That's why our 11th principle is so practical. Deliberately choose your role models. The Stoics knew we learn and grow by example. Seneca gave this direct advice. Choose someone whose way of life, as well as words, have won your approval. Be always pointing him out to yourself as your guardian or as your model. This isn't about blind hero worship. It's about having a standard to measure yourself against, a ruler, as Seneca called it, to make the crooked straight. When you face a tough decision, you can ask yourself, what would my role model do here? This simple question can bring instant clarity and push you to a higher standard of behavior. Your role model could be a historical figure like Marcus Aurelius, a mentor, a family member, anyone who embodies the virtues you want to build, whether it's courage, integrity, or resilience. Marcus Aurelius himself started his meditations by listing the virtues he admired in his family and teachers. So, identify the people, living or dead, whose character you respect. Study their lives, read their words, and keep their example in your mind. It gives you a North Star for your own development, keeping you on track when you might otherwise drift. Principle 12. Gratitude and appreciation. And finally, our 12th principle, something modern psychology confirms, is a cornerstone of well-being: cultivating gratitude. The Stoics knew that happiness isn't about getting what you want, but appreciating what you have. Epictetus taught, "He is a wise man who does not grieve for the things which he has not, but rejoices for those which he has." Gratitude is a mental shift. It's the deliberate act of focusing on your blessings, not your burdens. Our brains have a natural negativity bias. We obsess over what's wrong or what's missing. A gratitude practice fights back against this. It can be as simple as taking a moment each morning to be thankful that you're alive, or ending your day by listing 3 things you appreciate. Marcus Aurelius advised us to think of the things we have now as things we once longed for. Do you have your health? A roof over your head? People who care about you? These are huge gifts that we often take for granted. By consciously acknowledging them, you anchor yourself in a feeling of abundance, not scarcity. This doesn't mean you stop trying to improve, but your ambition comes from a place of fullness, not emptiness. Gratitude is the antidote to endless desire and the foundation for a truly joyful life. Conclusion. That's the list. 12 essential Stoic principles. The dichotomy of control, memento mori, amor fati, the view from above, focusing on the present, serving others, temperance, excellence in daily tasks, self-knowledge, daily reflection, choosing role models, and gratitude. These aren't just philosophical ideas. They are a practical system for building an unshakable inner fortress. They are tools to rewire your brain for resilience, focus, and real success, no matter what life throws at you. But the power of Stoicism isn't in reading about it. It's in practicing it. It's a daily commitment to living with virtue, purpose, and calm. Start small. Pick one principle that really hit home for you and try to apply it today. The goal isn't perfection, it's progress. By integrating these ancient strategies into your modern life, you can go from being a passenger tossed around by circumstance to being the calm, clear-eyed captain of your own soul. Which of these 12 principles resonated with you the most? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear which one you're going to practice first. And if you found this guide valuable and want more practical wisdom for a better life, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss what's next. Thanks for watching.